I have more hours in this game than I care to admit, and in this video I'm going to attempt to go through the Trosky region achievements. Check the timestamps below if you're looking for something more specific. To start, we have an achievement called Lent. This requires you to complete the game without killing any animals or eating any meat. Although there will be times when you're fighting animals, there are ways to avoid killing them. I will highlight this when it becomes an issue. But what I would recommend you checking is your stats often, in case a reload is required. So what do you eat when there's no meat? You have an abundance of options such as breads and cooking pots, but the best option overall is honey, which can be found at beehives around the map. It's free, abundant, and gives energy when eaten. So the first location we have is Trosky. It's the starter location following the prologue, and there's a total of 13 beehives in the area. And there's also another 9 in Takov. Now this should be enough honey to see you through to the Kutenberg region. There's also a hidden POI just east of Takov, in the small forest. There's an easy lock chest there, so good picklocking XP early, and it contains a woodman's journal. So now moving on to the actual achievements. We've got the first one, which is Deja Vu. The easiest achievement we'll be going through today, probably. This achievement requires you to defeat hands in the tutorial duel. The easiest way to do this is to chain attacks. The next achievement on our list is a Knight's Word. You must return to Bezena, the herb woman who helped us during the prologue, and repay the 150 groschen. This can become missable if you progress too far into the story, so make sure you do it as soon as possible. Next we have Boneworks. It's a 3-part achievement, the first being in Trosky, completing the Forbidden Fruit questline. This sees us helping Knack Ignatius with his job list, before he'll take us to his hole. To start this quest, we're first going to have to go speak with Krazel in the south end of the map. When you talk to him, he'll ask you to go see Bonnie. Simply follow the path south, across the bridge, and then turn left. Talk to Bonnie and she'll tell you about the saltpeter. They need to know where to find it, so she'll send you to the knacker in need. His graveyard is east of Trosky. You'll only be able to start this quest very early in the day, so skip time if needed. Once you speak to Ignatius, he'll ask you to hop on his cart. First stop is the ruined cottage, the first take-up in our land achievement. Since it's just the one wolf, you can't kick it until it flees. Once you've dispersed of the wolf, you can either picklock the door, which is very hard, or head round the back and through the window. Once you've packed up the carcass, just take the sack back to the cart. Some farmhands will accuse you of theft. How you get out of it depends on your skill set, but you can't just select the skill check with the highest value. Next you'll take us to pick up some dead pigs, whilst he sits in the cart chatting up the housemaid. There'll be 2 pigs to put in the sack, take them back to the cart. Once you finish putting the pigs in the back of the cart, he'll take you to the next location, which is a farm, where he'll ask you to kill a dog. For speed you can run straight to Bonnie, who is standing under a tree with the dog. Speaking with her, she'll tell you she'll take the dog with her. Head back to Ignatius and tell him that you've killed the dog, or tell the truth. It doesn't matter for the achievement. Finally, he brings you to his hole, and here you'll need to taste the saltpeter. Once you're certain it tastes salty, you can either speak with Ignatius, who will take you back to his graveyard, or go straight to the miller to hand in the quest. The other 2 quests for the achievement are in the Kutenberg region. Next up we have Old Raven. You need to find the real Lord of Nebakov, who is sitting in the cells under the fortress. To start, speak with Capon in Trosky, who you will accompany to Nabakov. On your way, you'll somehow lose the horse race. It might be worth throwing down a quick save at this point, because if you are caught, then you will fail the achievement. Once you've arrived, you can head straight to the kitchen. Make sure the cook is sitting at the table, ensuring that you close the door behind you. If you have any armor on, I'd recommend taking it off, as there will be guards above you. You want to pickpocket guard hurdle. If your pickpocketing skill isn't high enough, there's also another key in the dining hall of the fortress. This is also a restricted area, so you'll have to sneak around. Make sure you take the single key, that's the one that you would need. Throw a stone to distract him, and then enter the door on the left, again closing it behind you. Then speak to the back, you'll enter a cutscene, and then go through the dialogue options from there. Once the cutscene is ended, just simply walk out as if nothing's happened. Then head outside where your horses are being kept. You can hold down E at a specific spot to skip the rest of the day. Hounds will be waiting now on the left. Simply speak to him and it will start a cutscene. This will lead you back to Trosky Castle, where you'll go speak to von Bergov. It's really important that you select I don't know anything, because that will skip a skill check later on. This leads nicely into the next achievement, which is Silence is Golden. You get this achievement by avoiding the raid on Sabine. First we need to torture the prisoner. Head downstairs and press E on the door. This will start a cutscene. From here we have to follow a specific dialogue path. First we need to select We Asked First, then we select Slap, then View Tongs, Where is your band hiding? We already know Anywhere, Punch, Hit Harder, Take Hammer, select Continue, Why did you ambush us? Select You're not worth it, but you will, Torture, then let's change subject. From there you'll find out it is young Samin that helped the bandits. Then you tell Hans not to tell von Bergov. Telling Hans not to tell von Bergov is one of the most important parts of the achievement. This ensures when you have a conversation with him later on that he doesn't disclose anything, thus avoiding the raid on Samin itself. Then head back to von Bergov and select the option Nobody helped the bandits here. And with that, the achievement should pop. Next you'll get a warning telling you about a crucial point in the story approaching. This will lock out some side quests like Demons of Trosky, which can be important to the Been There Done That achievement, so it's important not to speak to Hans so you don't trigger the next quest. Which leads us into our next achievement, which has Been There Done That. This achievement is awarded for completing the majority of the game's content. While the exact threshold is not specified in game, the achievement is tied to completing approximately 100 quests, including main quests, side quests, and tasks. To start Demons of Trosky, you'll need to go speak with Chamberlain Ulrich. He'll ask you to get rid of the Trosky demons, as well as giving you 3 people to go speak to. You'll get a choice between Holy Water or Magic Water. The choice doesn't actually matter. The first person to speak to is Bertha, who's the cook downstairs. She's within the western side of the castle. She'll ask you to douse water on each fireplace on the maiden side of the castle. There's a total of 5 fireplaces around the maiden side. The first one is above the stairs, through the green door. Next, head straight down the stairs to the kitchen. This is where Cook Manietta is, who we'll speak to later. Next is in von Bergov's dining hall. On the upper floor through another green door. The last one is at the top of the stairs in von Bergov's room. Next go speak to Cook Manietta, who's in the kitchen downstairs. She will tell you that the demons are coming from the Crone side, the opposite side of the castle. Make your way over there. Once again there'll be 5 fireplaces to douse. The first one will be in the kitchen. The next is in the dining room on the 2nd floor. The next fireplace is in the scribe's room. The last 2 are at the very top of the tower. The first one being in the living area, the second one being in the bedroom at the top of the stairs on the left. The last person we go speak to is Blacksmith Asina. He'll tell you that he's spotted demons in certain locations of the castle. The first location he's spotted demons in is the privies under the barracks. The second in another toilet. Return back to the blacksmith and accuse him of making a fool of you. He'll admit that it was all a joke. You can then return back to the Chamberlain and hand in the quest. Next we have the Truce achievement. For this you need to get Old Ulbrum and Innkeeper Proshek to make amends. To start you will need to do quests for either one. For the purposes of this video, I chose Ulbrum, which will be the Frog's questline. Before we start, you will need to have at least 10 speech, level 5 scholarship, and an axe. You can use a fox potion to temporarily increase your speech, and read books to level up your scholarship. First speak with Ulbrum, who is at Zeliov. He will ask you to cut down the maypole in the village of Takov. Depending on the time of day you might have to wait till nightfall. Once it's dark and past 10 PM, speak with Henrik, who is standing guard at the maypole. He will tell you about his troubles with Manka, the local barmaid. You will get another quest to speak with Manka to convince her to meet up with Henrik for a date. She will only speak to you during the daytime, so don't sneak into the tavern to speak with her. Once you've spoken to Manka during the day, she'll ask you to go speak with Henrik, who is sleeping in his attic. Wait until nightfall and meet Henrik at the maypole. This time he will let you take guard instead of him. Once he's gone and the coast is clear, interact with the maypole. This is where we use the axe that we made sure we had before the quest started. It's quite a lengthy animation, so make sure no one is around. Henry will cut it down and you simply pick it up and fast travel to Ulbrum to hand the quest in. Once you speak to him, he will give you another quest. Again, you have to return to Takov. This time you'll be herding sheep. Once in Takov, head to the sheep pastures. Olchvik will be in the field standing guard over his sheep. If you approach him, he will tell you to clear off. Instead, wait until 12 PM. This is when you'll go for lunch, leaving the sheep alone. There will be 2 housemaids on the hill, but they don't cause any issues. This requires a bit of patience as the sheep are slow to herd. Once done, head back to Ulbrum. He'll mention that he plans on meeting up with the Takovites. He invites you to join them. It's important that you select the dialogue option, what's the next step of your master plan, then alright then wouldn't you rather make up? And finally, first I'll try and sort out this conflict. Go and see the bailiff and tell him about the conflict. Select can't we get them to make up? Then you'd finally have some peace. This is where that level 10 speech check is. So if you need to use a fox potion, then use it before you speak to the bailiff. Then the level 5 scholarship skill check. I know books. The book is on the lectern in the scribe's room. Flick through the pages, it's near the end. Your quest will be updated with a new task to find the border nail in the pasture. Head to the marker on the map, look for the oak tree standing on its own. Make sure you don't pull the nail out, just examine it. The quest will once again be updated. Head back to see the bailiff and update him on your progress. Let him know that you're ready to meet up with the Takovites. Scene will start and select the option, Isn't it time to make up? The achievement should pop soon after. If you speak to the bailiff after, you get Master Studies 1 as a reward. That concludes my video. If you have any feedback, please leave it down in the comments, and thank you for watching.